Let's take you back to Rofhiwa Madzena at the summit, live for us there at the Sandton Convention Centre. And Rofhiwa, I understand that you are with an activist, particularly from Ghana. South Africa has been calling for the expansion in terms of the African continent in particular since the days of former President Thabo Mbeki with his African Renaissance. So I'm interested to know what that activist is saying because so far the only accepted other country besides South Africa to BRICS here in this continent is Ethiopia.
Yes, Ethiopia, and I suppose geographically Egypt. And you know, Masako, I actually want to draw on a question you asked your guest around President Emmanuel Macron and his non-attendance and him perhaps thinking that he still has quite a hold on the Francophone states on the African continent. It'll be part of our discussion with Natalie Yam. She is indeed a Pan-African activist based between Switzerland and Cameroon. Thank you very much for joining us and for making it all the way to South Africa for this important summit. Before we get into the specifics I just described to my colleague, your thoughts on the overall BRICS Summit, the entrance of two more African countries, if you will, and the growth opportunities there?
No, I think it was a success in my point of view, because we have, I think it's the first summit since the pandemic, and the business forum has been very lively, well attended, a lot of proposal, a lot of brainstorming. The expansions, as you say, 2 new African countries joining the chat. And the endless opportunity that it's offering. You know, within the BRICS, a decision was made that the trade within the member countries are going to be made in local currencies. So getting away from these dollar hegemony on these people, improving the growth, the exchange between the people of these different countries. I think it's the way forward. It's the path of the future.
What about concerns that have been raised by different stakeholders that this is a form of neocolonialism by the biggest trading partner, in this case is China, and we perhaps are giving too much and not receiving enough as developing nations?
I disagree with that, actually, because I think that's a narrative that is usually used by people that are sour because there are new opportunities that are coming. I think the reason, the essence of the BRICS is to have partnerships, equal partnerships, with partners that may have different views but that have a shared vision of a new way of handling international relation, partnership within people. We are coming from a very hegemonic world order where a minority of states have imposed everything on us. Those people that are complaining about China being in the BRICS or being a giant among the BRICS are the same that are seeking to have relationship with China and trade with China and everything. So I think it's disrespectful to assert something like that, because when you look at the BRICS and the way they were created and around which principle and vision they were created around the vision of a balanced world. China is there. Maybe one day Gabon, a small country, will enter, but it's one country, one voice. It's up to our respective leaders to negotiate in the best interest of our different countries. You can't complain if you do not know how to negotiate for your best interest.
Yeah.
So I think this is a platform that has been created in order to get away from the Bretton Woods institutions that were really built around an hegemonic power of the winner of the Second World War. And the exact reason why it was created is to have equal partnerships, respectful partnerships, profitable partnerships, of course, among the members. And I think that's the exact reason why they do not accept everybody in one go. They just take people slowly to ensure that everything keeps the balance.
Now, you've got quite an interesting story, and perhaps you can include it in this next response. Do you think that some maybe Francophone states could benefit from a collaborative effort like this one at some point to reduce a reliance or the hegemonic pressure you speak about from countries like France, for example, because you say to this day it's a very real reality that the abuse of resources in those states is as rife as it ever was.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's the Francophone countries are seeing what opportunities are coming with BRICS. But I think they need to do their homework first, because you see, in 14 Francophone countries, they are using a currency that is called the franc CFA. The CFA franc is not managed by any of those 14 countries. It is managed by Paris, by the public treasury in Paris, up until now. So when within the BRICS, the people decide that we are going to trade in local currency among the members, we don't have our local currency because our currency is managed by France. So if they don't want us to trade with South Africa or with India, then they are just going to block our bank accounts there, and we will not be able to engage in any trade. So I have seen in the list of the countries that are eager to join the BRICS, several countries that are from the franc CFA zone, and I think that they will do their homework, and this may give a boost to the process of getting an emancipation of France, because France, I mean, we are seeing France meddling in the Niger situation right now, wanting to make war, a proxy war via the ECOWAS into a sovereign African country, a so-called sovereign African country, you know. So we need to get rid of it. And you were talking about Emmanuel Macron inviting himself. I mean, it's seldomly seen in the world that a president will invite himself.
Yeah, a post-colonial world.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has this condescended attitude toward Africa. It's Africa. It's for us. I can do and ask everything, and I get it. He got a response from South Africa, and I'm very, very thankful for South Africa for rejecting that. And I think the rest of the Western world is also getting a response on their attitude and behaviors and towards Africa through this very same summit.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish we had more time to talk, but that is all the time we have, Masego. Such an insightful conversation there, and this recognition that it's okay for Africans to fight for Africa, and that through initiatives like the BRICS and the expansion that we saw today, it is positive. I mean, it is it's possible rather to create collaborations that not only feed into economic growth, but the livelihoods and democratic practices of people. I'm throwing it back to you for now, Masego, but those are the kind of conversations that we are having this afternoon.